Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys Football. Today we are taking a look at a 2022 NFL mock draft for the Baltimore Ravens, a team that was just absolutely ravished by injuries. A good roster. They're losing a couple guys in free agency. I have the list here. It is a long list, but still they have a lot of really good guys returning, and they have a really good team that just injuries just mounted up, whether it be Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins losing pretty much like their whole secondary and running back room before the season even started. So fire up this draft, picking 14. This is a very good team to be having that 14th pick. I see Derek Stingley on the board. I think that's the no-brainer pick. Say Derek Stingley doesn't fall. I think Tyler Linderbaum could be the pick, but Derek Stingley, man, at 14 is just an absolute steal. I think you have to slam this guy every time. Are there questions? Yeah, he's not working out at the combine. That started to pop up some question marks for me. Does he love football? Is he an alpha? I mean, it doesn't matter because he's just physically better than everybody else. Uh, if you have questions about taking him, just go turn on the 2019 film of him as a true freshman. It's just if you put 3 years like that, he'd be looking for a house in Jacksonville, as Dan Brugler said, and that's very true. He'd be the first overall pick. Absolute lockdown cornerback his true freshman year. So athletic that they wanted to give him touches on the offense side of the ball. Season just kind of blew up in their face the last 2 years down in LSU. He also struggled with some injuries. Traylon Burks falling outside the first round after kind of a weak combine. All right, 45 here. Zion Johnson's probably the pick. Again, he's a guy that shouldn't be falling outside the top 40. We have a first-round grade on him. 32 benches on the 32 reps on the bench press last night. The film is a phenomenal. He can play center. Did that at the Senior Bowl. Jahan Dotson is also a guy that is interesting. I think he has a chance to kind of provide a little bit more juice to that offense in terms of playmakers around Lamar Jackson, Sammy Watkins out the door. You have Rashad Bateman, you have Hollywood Brown, you have Mark Andrews. So you're looking pretty good with the playmakers around him. I know Sammy Watkins is a free agent. We're going to just take a quick look at this free agency again. Jimmy Smith is gone. So you want to look at a cornerback too. Calais Campbell inside is gone. But I think the biggest thing, you're losing Bradley Bozeman. I think Zion Johnson is going to allow you to kind of get going with that run game again. Again, he's a plug-and-play guy. He will come in, play football for you this year. Are you thinking about maybe linebacker? Yes, but I think we're going to have a staple of really solid linebackers to choose from in this third round. So we can wait and not really take Christian Harris there. Again, I think I think we're taking advantage of. If you take a look at who's left on the interior offensive lineman, it's nothing great. I think Jamari Salyer later round could be a good pick. Cameron Jurgens, I think, could be a really good pick. But Zion Johnson is just too good of a football player to have him fall the way he did. I think you go Travis Jones, defensive tackle. Calais Campbell. I mean, it's incredible that he's even playing at the level he is. You have to pay him a lot. He's going to look for a 2 year big contract. Might just have to let him walk. Travis Jones, the guy who you're going to be able to put in that interior on the defensive line and not really have to worry about the run game. It is smarter to take Travis Jones between 50 and 70. Now he's falling to 76 than it is to take Jordan Davis at 14. I get it. Jordan Davis, he's very good. But I'm not reaching for somebody who doesn't have the ability to play 3 downs in the first round. And you're going to get someone with Travis Jones who can do very similar things in the later rounds. I think that's the move. I'm looking at the interior linebackers too. Let's take a quick look at cornerback real quick. Kobe Bryant's still there. We're gonna go big Travis Jones. I do like Tariq Woolen. Devontae Wyatt too. I mean, Devontae Wyatt at 76 is. I have an early second round grade on him. I'm just kind of thinking of what I want the Ravens to look like, and I think Travis Jones might help a little bit more. We'll go Devontae Wyatt, I think, just because I think he offers a little bit more. Man, Travis Jones just looks so good in the Senior Bowl. He is just so imposing. He is when he's fresh, similar to like Jordan Davis. When he's a fresh football player, not having to play 50, like not having to play too many snaps, he's really good. He's dominant. I think he's very similar to Jordan Davis. We'll get Travis Jones here, free up some of those linebackers. That dude's one of the best two gappers, probably the best two gapper after Jordan Davis in the class. He's going to free up those linebackers and go make some plays. I'm going to see if he can snag a linebacker at this range. Some of the guys I have an eye on, Brian Asamoah. I hope he falls. I'm not very optimistic. I'm a huge fan of Brian Asamoah. Yes, he's a little undersized. And he's there. This is a no-brainer pick. Brian Asamoah, he is like JOK in the flesh. 33-inch arms, so he's very good dropping back in coverage and playing in zone and picking up tight ends in man coverage. He's very good at that. The one thing you're concerned with is he's a little undersized, 220 pounds, and he's not very physical taking on blocks. You get Travis Jones, hopefully free him up. You're not too many offensive linemen working up to the linebackers, and that's where he's going to thrive. George Pickens here at 109. I'm going to take Christian Watson, though. Well, let's see. Do we take another receiver? Do they consider the Ravens having a wide receiver need? They do. I don't think they have that big of a wide receiver need. So I think Rashad Bateman and Christian Watson have very similar games. Christian Watson, he is not going to be there at the end of round 4. I like Tariq Woolen a lot too. He's going to put your hands on you. He's going to put his hands on you. I think Christian Watson or George Pickens are just kind of too good to pass up. I'm going to go with Christian Watson, who had just, Christian Watson. Christian Watson's a guy that he ran a 4.3 640. I mean, like blazing speed. He's a tremendous mover for being 6'4", has massive hands. He's very good catching the ball contestedly. And we get Tariq Woolen. We're going to go get Tariq Woolen, who's a guy that long arms. He's physical. He's going to run a burner 40. He's just like, he's a little bit stiff. Doesn't have like the greatest hips breaking on balls, but he's going to put your hands on you. He's going to reroute you. And he's a project. He's playing wide receiver a couple of years ago. He's still learning the game. I mean, they just really want us to get George Pickens or something. I'm not really sure what the deal is because, like, I love George Pickens, but just took Christian Watson. I'm trying to think about how we're going to play, Alex. You got Mark Andrews. You got Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman, and we just took Christian Watson. George Pickens going to be our – I mean, that's some depth, man. Can we take a look real quick? Let's just take a look at the step chart real quick. Because, I mean, I want to get George Pickens here. I think the value is just disgustingly good, especially with how well he did with the 40. Like, he shows he has that speed to win downfield. But then I don't want to, like, crowd the room too much. Sammy Watkins gone. They got Tylan Wallace last year, who I was on. I think Christian Watson and George Pickens are better than Tylan Wallace. JT Wood's still on the board. Terrell Bernard's still on the board. Leo Chenal's still on the board. Leo Chenal's a guy that I really like. We took Brian Asamoah. To be honest, I think you have to go George Pickens here. Again, it's we kind of addressed the need. But when you're picking in round 4, go get players who are really good. I mean, George Pickens is really good at football. I have a second-round grade on him. He's in the 4th round. I think you go get him and you don't overthink it. This is an awesome draft, by the way. This is like everything you wanted. They're all falling to you. If you want to put Zion Johnson at guard, I think you could go get Cameron Jurgens. I'm optimistic on Ben Cleveland kind of working out. Calvin Austin, too. I like Calvin Austin a lot as well. Check that safety room because I know we got Geno Stone's toast, Deshaun Elliott. I think they have some work to do in that back end. And I like Kirby Joseph. I know Rock, friend of the show, he really likes Kirby Joseph. I also like Nick Cross. I think Kirby Joseph, he's been a riser on a lot of people's boards. Man, the Ravens this is like such a good like draft setup for the Ravens because this draft is not very top heavy. Like the top 10 prospects aren't world beaters by any means. But there is some great depth to this draft class. And that's where all their picks are. So that you can either use all those picks to get just really good football players in late round 4. They got this is their 4th pick in round 4. Or you can use some of that capital to go trade up. It's you gotta like how this is working out for the Baltimore Ravens. I think Cameron Jurgens, Jamari Salyer are both really good prospects too. Cameron Jurgens, a little bit, he's Tyler Linderbaum-ish, a little bit undersized, but very, very athletic. He used to play tight end. Very good with the reach blocks in that zone scheme. And then you got Jamari Salyer, who played left tackle for the Georgia Bulldogs. He's going to play inside at the next level, and he's just a brick house. Him and Ben Cleveland are very, very similar football players. Just absolutely mountains of men. Not necessarily tall, but just girthy, wide. I think you could take a look at running back too, because you're having 2 guys coming off some significant injuries. But I think there's kind of a wheelhouse of running backs a little bit later. So we're going to go back to this big board. We're going to check the edge group real quick because I wanted to kind of address that. I think Josh Pascal's a great fit here for the Ravens. He's a guy who's very, very good against the run. He's got a great first step for being 280 plus pounds. High character guy as well. I think you can do a lot with him. Like he's more not a tweener. He's more just versatile because I think he can play inside and outside, and it's just wherever you need him to go, he can. Dominique Robinson is much more of a projection guy. Played wide receiver. My brother's a huge fan of Trey Williams. Jacob McClain I like a lot. And we're going to go get Marcus Jones from Houston. Again, one of my favorite players in the class. This is just a great, great draft for the Baltimore Ravens. They might be my new favorite team to mock because I love so many guys in that round, like 3 to 4 range. And they have like 6 picks there. Very, very exciting. And again, you can either use those picks to go get quality depth players who are going to be very good at the next level. Or you can maybe say, hey, I really like a guy late in the first round. I want to trade up, maybe trade up that second pick to go get somebody. And you can use some of that capital to go make some moves up there in the front of the draft. A lot of options for the Ravens. They don't have any picks in round 5. Completely fine with it. I needed a break. There's a lot of back-to-back picks for the boy. I was getting a little tired. Again, now we're getting into the range where just go find a guy that you really like. Thayer Munford, I hate. Picking here 195. I'm a fan of Jack Sanborn, just producer at Wisconsin. I'm a fan of Vinny Gray. We've kind of already addressed those needs. Tyquan Thornton, man. Flyer. I really like Nasir Greer. If you guys know, you guys are a friend of the show, you know I like Nasir Greer a lot. Gotta like the Bama edges too. That's the one position that I think we missed on. I kind of wish we were able to get an edge guy. That's all right though. Odafe will hold it down. Any sleepers? Any sleepers in the edge class that I really like? Big Cat Bryant. All right, young man. They're kind of low on him. I think Nasir Greer is the pick here, to be honest with you. He's a guy at Wake who just couldn't stay on the field. But when he was on the field, he's just a stud. He was all over the place. He's got great range. He's got great instincts. He's a little bit undersized, but he tackles well. Kind of reminds me of Dax Hill a little bit in the sense that yes, the range is good. He's got good ball skills, turnover machine, and you worry about like can he come up and tackle and be physical, but like because the body's a little small. But like both those guys are very physical players. They play physical brand. You have to like the way they play. The Ravens have one more pick here because I was kind of planning on taking a running back. If they don't, that's kind of not great. We'll see. Again, this is probably you can easily go get somebody. Pierce Strong was a guy that really impressed at the combine. He's a 210-pound back who ran a 4.39. Like that's faster than Jahan Dotson. He can get moving. Connor Hayward, a guy that if you want to try to find somebody to replace a Patrick Ricard, I think Connor Hayward can do it. Patrick Ricard's he's a dog, but like Connor Hayward's more of like a Kyle Juszczyk who you can do more stuff with. He's a former running back, put on some weight. I think the Ravens would really enjoy having him. He's a very good blocker as well. All right, here's our haul. Again, this is the meat, man. 99 to 130, 141. You have what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 picks in between the third and fourth rounds. Like that's where the Ravens are going to win their draft. I think Derek Stingley is a great first round pick, a guy with just the highest of high ceilings. Again, a guy if you put 3 years of consistent tape on the dock, he would be a top 5 pick, maybe even number 1 overall pick. Zion Johnson's just a steal. You need work on the interior offensive line. I think Zion Johnson's a day 1 starter, whether he plays center, whether he plays guard. Travis Jones and Ryan Samoa, when I do mocks, I try to like link those guys up because I think they really balance each other out. Travis Jones, I'm just going to eat 2 blockers. They're not going to double team, push me back, work up to a linebacker. Brian Samoa is then going to feed off that. He's going to fly around the football field, make plays. He's going to get his hands on footballs. I really enjoyed watching Brian Samoa's film after that Nebraska game that I watched. Christian Watson and George Pickens, just guys that you can't pass on at this stage. If they fall for whatever reason, I think you smash them. I think another guy that I think would be really fun to watch is Calvin Austin. He's a guy that Lamar Jackson likes to work those quick throws. Calvin Austin's a guy you want to get the ball in his hands early. He's going to make some noise. 5'7", very, very small, but just super explosive running, blazing 40, jumped out of the gym. Yes, he's small, but he's absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. Tariq Woolen, kind of the opposite. 6'3", long. He's not as quite explosive, but he's got great long speed. He's very physical, and he's a guy that's just getting better and better. Played wide receiver a couple years ago, still learning that cornerback position. Apparently, he played Madden to learn the position, so that's just telling you where he was at. Like if you're playing Madden to learn football, you got a lot to learn. I think that tells you he's got a lot to learn and a lot of development. Kirby Joseph and Marcus Jones, just kind of addressing some of the biggest needs. I think you could go 2 linebackers. There's going to be some really good linebackers in that range. Again, Marcus Jones, I didn't touch enough about him. He's going to be an elite slot cornerback. He doesn't just bring decent special team. Like he'll be better than Duvernay returning kicks and punts. He is just an absolute electric factory in space. And then you round it off with Nasir Greer, who's one of my favorite guys late round. I think that pick could have been used on like a running back. Son Haskins, I really like. Zamir White, I really like. Both of them have very good combines. This is a fun. I'm gonna have to do another Ravens mock because this one was an absolute blast to do. This is my wheelhouse. I love a lot of players in this range, and that's where they have all their picks. All right. Well, once again, thank you guys for watching. This is just I have a blast doing these. The support has been very, very cool. You guys have been awesome in the chat, commenting on the videos. We'll be back with more content later. Peace, y'all.